Welcome back to the channel, and in today's tutorial I'm going to be showing you how to make some really realistic and awesome looking metal text in Blender. So this is going to be two things we're going to be looking at here, as how to make the actual text, which really is simple because Blender already has this feature built in that allows you to make text and make it like 3D. And then we're just going to make this relatively simple material here to kind of give it this metallic look and kind of like a sanded metallic look. And I just think the result here looks really great. So if you want to learn how to do this, just stick around and we'll get into it. I'll probably upload this final result as well to my Patreon. So yeah, let's jump in and I hope you enjoy. So with a new scene opened up in Blender, select all of the default objects. Let's just press delete. And let's go Shift A. Let's go to our text option. We're just going to click on it and it's going to add in some text. And to be able to type words, all you're going to do is tab into edit mode, just like you do with an object. And now you can just backspace and you can type. So I'm going to type something like metal. Now, obviously, you can type in whatever word you want. Then I'm going to tab back out into object mode. And inside of object mode, we're going to go over here to our text properties over here under the object data properties. And let's first of all start by going over here to the font. If you come here to regular and you just click on it, you can see all of these different options. And the one I'm going to go with is this one here called Bahaz 93 regular. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to go open font. And now you can see this is what we have. Pretty cool. Now I did mine all cap locks, but you can do whatever you want. I'm also going to just come down here to the paragraph, and under the alignment, I'm just going to come here and make it center. And the vertical, I'm also going to make it middle, like so. Okay, that's pretty cool. Now we want to give it some thickness. So let's go over to our geometry. Let's go over here to the bevel or I guess we'll go with the extrude first. Let's give it some extrusion. I'm going to give it a thickness, something like that. Looks pretty good. And then we're going to come over here to the resolution, bump that up to 6, and then we'll come here and just give it a little bit of depth. So we have a bit of a bevel happening here. And now you can see this is the text we have. Now we want to go one more step. We want to go Shift D to duplicate this, right click to let go. And then this one, we're going to come over here to the extrude and we're going to bring it down ever so slightly. And then we're going to grab the other bit of text, this one over here. And let's come here to the bevel depth and let's make that a little bit smaller. So we should have this one under here just sticking out a little bit like so, and that's really going to help with that sort of metallic look. Now you don't have to have the two overlapping each other like this, but I think it really adds a cool extra detail. So now let's go Shift A. Let's just quickly add in an empty cube, and we'll just grab all this text and holding in Shift, select the empty and go Control P and just go keep transform. And I'll just grab the text and just scale them both up and go RX90. So now we can grab this empty and we can always move the empty to rotate and move this around. So in the front view, let's go Shift A. Let's go to camera options, add in a camera. I'm going to move mine back in the scene and I'm going to kind of zoom back like so. And then let's grab the empty and we'll go RX and rotate it slightly in the X like so. And then RZ and rotate it so we have it kind of slanted a little bit. And I think that just looks much more aesthetically pleasing like so. And there we have it. We've now made the text. I'm just going to save it to my desktop. Go ahead and save it. And now let's go ahead and select some of the text. Let's go to our materials. Let's go new. Let's call it metal. And we're going to make a really cool looking metal shader here. So we're going to start by going to our shading workspace. Let's go over here to our render settings. Let's change it to cycles. And under the max sample for the renders here, let's just make that 55. And now we've created this metal material. We can take the metallic value all the way up to 1. The roughness will make 0.15. We don't want it down all the way to 0. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go Shift A, search, and we're going to go and get a noise texture. This is going to look really cool when we're done with this. And we're going to go ahead and make that noise something like 30. And then let's go Shift A, search, and get a texture coordinate. And we're going to plug the object into the vector here. And then go Shift A, search, and get a mapping. And just place it on here. Now I know somebody's going to mention you can use the node wrangler. The reason I don't do that is because sometimes people, I use it as a shortcut and they get confused. So I just showed them how to add in those two nodes. It's not that hard. Go ahead and use the node wrangler if you want. But we're going to have this object going into here. And now all we're going to do with the mapping is we're going to come here to the X, make it something like 29. And these two values here, the bottom Y and Z, will make it 0.1. So it's going to cause the stretch to happen. And then we can go Shift A search and get a color ramp. And let's plug the color into the factor here. And then just let's go one more node here. Shift A search and get bump. Place your bump over here and then have this color going into the height. And then plug the normal into the normal of the principled. And then make the strength 0.1. And now we just need a little bit of contrast here. So I'm going to just drag this black value up. And now you can already see here in the preview, I'm going to go Z and just go rendered. And we obviously need some lighting. So first of all, I'm going to go over to my world properties. I'm going to go here to color and just change this to sky texture. And then come here and take the strength down to 0.2. Okay, and then I'm going to go Shift A. I'm going to go to my light options, add in an area light. And over here, I'm just going to go G, Z, and just move it above the text, like so. And I'll just go to my light properties and just scale it up, make it a bit bigger, and increase the power. There we go. And then you can go Shift D to duplicate that light and move it into the side. So now we have it kind of coming off from the side here. Now this sky texture in Blender, you can always go over here and you can go and rotate that sky, the sun rotation here. You can just rotate that till you get it looking a little bit more like you want with the reflections. For me personally though, I like to go and just add an environment texture. Now you can go to the internet and get HDRIs for free. I've already got some on my computer that I'm just going to add, but that's also another thing you can do. So I'm just going to get one that I think will work well for this. It looks pretty good. And you can see that makes a really big difference having a good quality HDRI image. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the other text we also created and just add that same metal material to it. There we go. And I'm also going to go to my render properties. I'm going to go down and just enable the transparent. And you can now render this with a transparent background and add your own sort of background. That's what I'd recommend you do. But for now, I'm just going to add in a simple plane and then just move it back just to make the tutorial a little bit shorter. But I would definitely recommend you render this out with a transparent background and then just add your own background in like Photoshop or GIMP. I'm going to select the background in this case and I'll just go ahead and give it a material and make it a little bit darker. And now you can grab your lights and you can kind of just rotate them. I'm just rotating around the origin point just to make things a little bit simpler. So in camera view, I can really kind of just hone it out and kind of really go for that sort of metallic look. Kind of have something coming from the back. I might bring the strength down to 100. At this point, you could really spend as much time as you want just moving around the lights. There really isn't a wrong or right way to do this. It's going to ultimately come down to what you're trying to, the look you're trying to achieve here. But you can see here, getting these sort of nice catchy angles can really help make that metal come out looking really nice. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna select the metal. I'm gonna come here to the metal material and just make the base color just a little bit darker. And I think that's looking really good. So already this is looking fantastic. So let's go ahead and save it. Let's go render and render the image. And there we have it, looking fantastic. There's probably one more thing we could probably do that I just thought of to add a little bit more realism. Is under our materials here. I think if we go down to coat or sheen, which one is it? Probably under the subsurface, I think. Yeah, under the subsurface, that's where it is. You're gonna go down here to the anisotropy and bring it all the way up to 1. And now if we give that a render, yeah, that's definitely looking a lot better. So I hope you have enjoyed that. Thank you for watching and I'll see you next time.